To no one's surprise, Pedro Pascal has claimed that TV stations canceling Jimmy Kimmel is, quote, what fascism looks like. No, I'm not making this up. And again, this is not surprising whatsoever coming from Pedro Pascal. Remember, this is the guy who just in May shared a video to his Instagram describing the United States as a, quote, secret police state. But now he's saying that Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled by television stations for lying about Charlie Kirk's assassin is somehow what fascism looks like. Roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. So if you don't know exactly what happened with Jimmy Kimmel on Monday night's Jimmy Kimmel Live show, host Jimmy Kimmel lied to viewers about Charlie Kirk's assassin, claiming he was a MAGA activist. Specifically, Kimmel said this: "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." Now, all the leftist talking heads have gone and tried to say that, oh, he was just making a joke. That's absolutely not what he was doing. He was clearly, in my opinion, acting in malice to lie about the assassin, to defame people that are MAGA supporters. I think that's exactly what Jimmy Kimmel was doing. I think he was intentionally trying to sow discord and chaos throughout the United States in that show. And we know that he was lying because we have plenty of evidence indicating the opposite of what he was claiming, that the assassin was a MAGA activist, which the assassin was not. The assassin has been identified or is accused of being, Tyler Robinson is accused of being the assassin, and Utah Governor Spencer Cox said there clearly was a leftist ideology with this assassin. Additionally, Cox had revealed that Robinson's roommate was his boyfriend, who was transitioning from male to female. He said, "We do know that the roommate that we originally talked about, we can confirm that that roommate is a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female." So we know that piece. And if you want to go and look at the charging documents as well, the state of Utah makes it very clear that they received information from Robinson's mother indicating that he had embraced left-wing ideology and had made comments at dinner that he did not like Charlie Kirk and was not a fan of Charlie Kirk. I think using the word hate. I don't have that in front of me, but all of that is in the charging documents. And Jimmy Kimmel and his team all had access to this before Monday night when they ran this episode, and he chose to run this and lie instead. And so what happened is Sinclair and Nexstar Media Group, which own all of these TV stations, they said, no, we're not going to be running Jimmy Kimmel Live on our ABC-affiliated stations. And then ABC News spokesman announced that Kimmel's show was being preempted or canceled. He said the spokesman said Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. Now, obviously, there were comments from the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr. He did an interview with Benny Johnson indicating that he might be looking into Kimmel's comments and it might be violating the FCC rules. And there are clear rules that I think, in my opinion, that Kimmel's comments did indeed violate, and the FCC would be right in taking action against them. I think we've seen from Sinclair that they are, I'm not sure if it was Sinclair or Nexstar, but they made it very clear that they were not in contact with the FCC, and the FCC and Brandon Carr's comments did not affect their decision to preempt the Jimmy Kimmel Live show on their television stations that they own. So that is also a left-wing narrative that they've been spreading after this to try to make Jimmy Kimmel some kind of free speech martyr, which is absolutely hilarious because they are attacking the free speech of the owners of the television station, Sinclair and Nexstar, who did not want Kimmel's comments to be broadcast on their television stations, but they're trying to make Jimmy Kimmel out to be some kind of martyr when he's the one who's going out there lying. And free speech, it does not give you the right to lie. Free speech does not mean you can say whatever you want. Anything that comes out of your mouth is okay. That is not what free speech is. That's not how we operate here, even in the United States. We have laws against libel. We have laws against slander. There are defamation laws. There are laws against lying. Right? Lying is not something that you are allowed to do. And it's also immoral, and you shouldn't be doing it from that. It's sinful. Lying is sinful. Anyways, Pascal reacted to all of this with numerous posts to his Instagram stories. First, he shared a post from the Human Rights Campaign with a headline from Vulture declaring ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel live from the air indefinitely, and they captioned it saying, "This is what fascism looks like." Apparently, canceling a television show for lying is what fascism looks like now. What is fascism? Who even knows? I think it just is whatever the people on the left don't like, whatever these radical communists don't like is what fascism is now. It's just a completely meaningless term that is just used as a boogeyman to try to justify all of the wickedness and evil that these people do. And they use it just to like malign anyone they see as their opponent that is standing in their way of power, that they are going to use to subjugate their enemies. And we've seen them do this throughout the years. Obviously, you can go back to Barack Obama, where he was weaponizing the IRS to target Tea Party groups. We saw this with Joe Biden, who was literally using Facebook and Twitter to silence critics of his administration as well. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg admitted this. The Twitter files have showed this as well. Massive government collusion. You can look at how Obama was also using his administration to spy on President Trump when he was first running for president. Anyways, following the show, TV network owner Sinclair and Nexstar Media Group announced they would no longer run Jimmy Kimmel Live. I think we already kind of covered that. Anyways, Pascal went on to share a statement from SAG-AFTRA, which reads, "Our society depends on freedom of expression. Suppression of free speech and retaliation for speaking out on significant issues of public concern run counter to the fundamental rights we all rely on. Democracy thrives when diverse points of view are expressed." Again, this is the narrative that they're trying to run. They're trying to make Jimmy Kimmel some kind of free speech martyr when he literally was lying, and you have no right to lie. Free speech does not give you the right to lie. He then shared a statement from the Writers Guild of America about Kimmel's firing. And you can see here the right to speak our minds and to disagree with each other, to disturb even, is at the very heart of what it means to be a free people. It is not to be denied, not by violence, not by the abuse of governmental power, nor by acts of corporate cowardice. Interestingly, they didn't actually make this statement after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They're only making it now after Jimmy Kimmel was rightfully and justly removed from these television stations. And then ABC, Disney chose to pull the show off the air. You know, the network that actually funds that program, they're the ones who chose to do it. It was not the government doing it, and they're insinuating that it's the abuse of governmental power, right? That's not true. The government did not actually, as far as we know, did not actually get involved. Now, obviously, I did talk about the comments from Brendan Carr, but everything that we've seen says that they were not influenced by those comments. Anyways, the WGA goes on and says, "As a guild, we stand united in opposition to anyone who uses their power and influence to silence the voices of writers or anyone who speaks in dissent. If free speech applied only to ideas we like, we needn't have bothered to write it into the Constitution. What we have signed on to, painful as it may be at times, is the freeing agreement to disagree. Shame on those in government who forgot this founding truth. As for our employers, our words have made you rich. Silencing us impoverishes the whole world. If they actually believed any of the nonsense they're spouting here, they would stop writing, and that would be a win for everyone, because most of the times what's happening with the Writers Guild of America, it is just pure leftist propaganda used to indoctrinate people. All of it is obvious. A lot of it is just utter, total degenerate, and shouldn't be viewed in the first place. It's terrible too. Like it's not even entertaining or good at all. But again, they don't actually tell you that Jimmy Kimmel lied. They don't tell you the actual truth. So these people are just a bunch of weasels, and it's not surprising. But as I said, as I've been saying, these posts are purely attempting to reframe why Kimmel was fired and seemingly to push a false narrative. Kimmel lied and violated the FCC's broadcast hoaxes rule. That rule states this: no licensee or permittee of any broadcast station shall broadcast false information concerning a crime or a catastrophe if the licensee knows this information is false. And again, I think Jimmy Kimmel absolutely knew the information was indeed false. He knows that the assassin was not a MAGA activist, was not an individual who's part of MAGA. It goes on, it says, it is foreseeable that broadcast of the information will cause substantial public harm. I think that is obviously the case. I think we're seeing that right now. I mean, just look at what these people are doing. The WGA, they are not actually talking about what Kimmel did. Instead, they're trying to make him a martyr. And this is causing harm to the public because they are lying. They're absolutely lying. They're lying by omission here. Broadcast of this information does in fact directly cause substantial public harm. And I think we're seeing that as well. I think he's duped a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people that probably are buying into this narrative and could potentially lead to more violence. Absolutely is causing, in my opinion, substantial public harm. And I think the FCC should still go after ABC and Disney for even airing the episode to begin with. I think there is room for them to do that, and I think they should. I think they should do that. Furthermore, as I kind of already said, but from a moral standpoint, as Dr. Edward Fazer has shared, free speech is more precisely the right to speak the truth and to uphold the good. This clearly entails some limits on the right to free speech. There can be no right under natural law to speak lies or to promote evil, since that would be directly contrary to the end for which the right to free speech exists. Now, obviously, there is some room in there because not everyone has perfect information. Not everyone has all of the details, but you should be pursuing the truth. You should be pursuing to uphold the good. So you might get something wrong because you don't have all of the information, but you should actually be attempting to be doing that. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel was doing that whatsoever. Nevertheless, Pascal also shared a photo of himself with Kimmel and said, "Standing with you, Jimmy Kimmel, defend free speech, defend democracy." He then went on to add in a comment, "Yay, gay." So this is Pedro Pascal. Not surprising that he is doing this, but just kind of reinforcing that this is not a good person. We need to be praying for him. We need to be praying for him. We are called to pray for enemies, called to pray for those who persecute us, and we need to be praying for Pedro Pascal on a number of fronts. He buys into a lot of this left-wing ideology, and I think he does it on purpose. I think he knows a lot of times that this stuff is indeed wicked and evil, and he does it anyways. So we pray for him, but at the same time, we have to call him out. We have to be willing to say no to people that are promoting this wickedness and reject their fake calls to, quote, defend free speech when it's patently obvious that what Jimmy Kimmel engaged in was not free speech whatsoever. He was indeed lying, and that is not free speech. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?